Hello and welcome, it's Kaya, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing the top and best performing dividend ETFs over the last 5 years. And trust me, you want to watch this because stock picking is actually very hard. One day you're flying high and then you're not. Having a good reliable dividend ETF that you can put your money in over to the long term will probably yield better results, and it won't take that much time. I wanted to make this video because there are a lot of sources out there that when it comes to dividend ETFs, they mention certain dividend ETFs which are either highly leveraged, which is not good according to Warren Buffett or myself. You want to stay as far away from leverage as possible, or they just have a very poor track record when it comes to performance. These ETFs which we are going to discuss are large, well established, they don't use leverage, and they have a good track record when it comes to their returns over the last 5 years. We are going to briefly cover what dividend ETFs are, and then we are going to then go on to the top 8 best performing dividend ETFs over the last 5 years. As you guys will hopefully know, index funds are a phenomenal tool to grow your wealth in the long term. If you want to learn more about index funds in particular, I highly recommend you go ahead and click on this video. So when it comes to dividend index funds, these index funds focus particularly on large, well-established companies that are able to generate consistent cash flow from which they can then pay dividends to their shareholders. That's essentially the basis. Now, what you do find is that some of these dividend ETFs also invest into not only large, well-established companies, but companies which also are expected to grow their revenue over time. So there is some growth aspect involved, but it's not always the case. Now, in addition to this, it might sound a little bit nerdy, but according to the BCG matrix, which essentially categorizes companies into one of 4 types, you'll find that most of the companies that are in a dividend ETF fall into the cash cow section of the BCG matrix. Now, a cash cow company is just quite simply a large, well-established company that's able to generate a lot of cash flow for its shareholders. So starting off with number 1, we have the Siren Divcon Leaders ETF. Now, this particular ETF tracks US listed large cap companies that pay dividends but also plan to increase their dividends over the next 12 months. Now, this particular ETF has a dividend yield of 2.18% and an expense ratio of 0.43%. Now, having an expense ratio of 0.43% means that for every $10,000 invested, $43 will be paid to the fund manager. Before I go any further, I just want to briefly digress here, just for you guys out there who don't know. So the dividend yield is essentially the dividend paid per share divided by the price per share. Now, obviously you want this to be as high as possible, but you guys need to be aware that just because a share or an ETF has a high dividend yield, it doesn't mean it's going to be a good investment. Now, just roughly speaking, for dividend ETFs, a rough benchmark, in my opinion, would be that you want the yield to sit around the 2% mark. And also, when it comes to the expense ratio, this is obviously the fees that you're going to be paying to the manager of the fund. Now, any wise investor would want to opt for as low an expense ratio as possible, because that means more of a return for you, the investor. And when it comes to the risk level for this particular ETF, we are going to give it a risk level rating on a scale of 1 to 5 of 3, and that is because of its beta of 0.92. So very briefly, you guys may be wondering, what is beta? Well, beta is a finance term, and what it specifically means is it's referring to the correlation between the share or the ETF to that of the market index, so something like the S&P 500. Now, when you have a beta of 1, what that means is that the share or the ETF is perfectly correlated with the market, i.e. it's just as volatile as the market. When you have a share or ETF which has a beta of less than 1, it means that it is not as volatile as the market, so it doesn't have as wild swings as the market does. And when you have a beta of greater than 1, it means that the share or ETF has a much more volatile movement in its price than that of the market index. Now, obviously, we're not going to go into detail of beta in this video, but that's just a brief summary. Now you guys know what beta is. If you want to see how I landed up deciding the risk level of these particular ETFs, I recommend you guys stop the video here. Now, when we go ahead and do an ETF deep dive, I am going to use my phone here. We can see here that it's mainly invested into the United States with a small amount in Canada. And then as far as the top sectors go, we have a large component that's involved around the technology sector, as well as finance and then retail trade. And then when we look specifically at the actual holdings, as far as notable holdings, we can definitely see that McKesson, so the pharmaceutical giants, followed by MasterCard, the payments provider, as well as Hershey's for those of you who like their chocolate. So well diversified across a lot of sectors. Now, as far as performance goes, this particular ETF managed to return 19.6% over the last 5 years per annum. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just under $24,500 today. And that brings us to our next one, which is the First Trust NASDAQ Technology ETF. Now, this particular ETF is a dividend-weighted ETF of some of the largest US technology companies which pay dividends. Just so you guys know, a dividend-weighted ETF is where the companies which form the largest component of that ETF are the companies which pay the largest amount of dividends to their shareholders. Now, this particular ETF has a respectable dividend yield of 2.21%, and it has an expense ratio of 0.5. So that means $50 to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. Now, the risk level for this particular ETF will get a 3 on a scale of 1 to 5, and that is because it has a beta of 0.98. So moving on to the actual ETF and its holdings, we can see here that it is mainly invested into the United States, but we do interestingly see some investments into other countries such as Canada, Netherlands. We also see that Taiwan, India, Mexico. It's got an interesting mix of both first world and third world countries. And then when we go ahead and look at the sectors, we see a large focus on the technology sector. We see there the first two sectors, the electronic technology and technology services industry, are literally accounting for 80% of the weightings. And then when we go and look at the particular shares, surprise, surprise, we see there that the largest holdings, you have IBM, the computer giant, we have there Broadcom, the semiconductor manufacturer, Intel, the chip manufacturer, Texas Instruments, also they make a whole bunch of electronics as far as I'm aware, Microsoft, Oracle, your software giants. You guys get the point. This is very heavily invested into technology companies. Now, when it comes to the performance, this particular ETF managed to return 18.72% per annum over the last 5 years. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown to just under $23,600 today. And that brings us to our next one, which is the First Trust Rising Dividend Achievers. Now, this particular ETF tracks 50 large cap companies which have rising or expected to be rising dividends. Now, this ETF has a slightly low dividend yield of 1.31% and an expense ratio of 0.5%, so $50 to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. And when it comes to the risk level for this particular ETF, we are going to assign it a rating of 3, and that's because it has a beta of 0.97. So when we go ahead and do an ETF deep dive, you can see here that all the companies are based in the United States, the largest sectors being finance, technology, as well as pharma. And then when we look at the specific holdings, interestingly, we see quite an equal share of the top 10 largest companies. They all have similar percentages. And then when we go ahead and look at them, we see that there's a focus on the mining companies being the first two holdings. We also see the Anthem, the pharmaceuticals giant, Johnson & Johnson, the consumer staples giant, and then also if I see the United Health Group, which is a huge healthcare and financial services provider in the United States. When it comes to the performance, this particular ETF managed to generate an annual return of 16.92% over the last 5 years. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just under $21,900 today. That brings us to the next one, which is the Vanguard Dividend Appreciation ETF, which is a rather well-known dividend ETF. And this particular ETF is a market cap weighted, so it's based on the size of the companies. And these particular companies are US companies which have paid dividends, and they have consecutively increased these dividends over the last 10 years. This particular ETF has a dividend yield of 1.92% and has a very low expense ratio of 0.06%, so $6 to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. Very, very impressive. And when it comes to the risk level for this particular ETF, it received a rating of 3, and that's because it has a beta of 0.76. So when we go ahead and do an ETF deep dive, you can see here that it is all focused in the United States. As far as the sectors go, we have a good dispersion amongst the finance, tech, as well as the consumer non-durables / consumer staples industries. And then as far as the top 10 holdings goes, I'm pretty sure you guys can identify each and every single one of these companies, while diversified across a host of different sectors. And when it comes to the annual performance for this one, it managed to generate an annual return over the last 5 years of 16.56%. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just over $21,500 today. That brings us to the next one, which is the WisdomTree US Quality Dividend Growth Fund. Now, this particular ETF tracks mid and large cap US companies that pay dividends but also show growth characteristics. This particular ETF has a respectable dividend yield of 1.97% as well as an expense ratio of 0.28%, so $28 for every $10,000 invested. When it comes to the risk level for this particular ETF, it managed to score a rating of 2, and that's because it has a beta of 0.7. And when we go ahead and do an ETF deep dive, you can see that it is once again all invested into the United States. We see their strong representation in the consumer staples sector, as well as the electronics technology industry, as well as health. And then when we go ahead and look at the largest holdings, similar to the last ETF, we also see that they have some of the most prominent and well-known companies in the world spread across multiple different sectors. And the annual performance for this particular ETF, it managed to return 16.32% per annum over the last 5 years. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just under $21,300 today. That brings us to the next one, which is the Schwab US Equity Dividend ETF. Now, this particular ETF tracks 100 large cap US companies which are paying dividends. This particular dividend ETF has a dividend yield of 3.02%, which is very impressive, and it also has a very impressive expense ratio of 0.06%, so $6 to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. And when it comes to the risk for this particular ETF, we are going to award it a 3. That's because it has a beta of 1.02. And when we go ahead and look at the particular holdings, we can see that it is all invested into United States companies. We see their strong representation in both the finance, consumer staples, as well as the pharmacare sector. And then when we go ahead and look at the top holdings, we see there that their largest holding, Merck, the pharmaceutical company, Coca-Cola, I'm sure you guys all know what they do, Pepsi, same story, Amgen, another pharmaceutical company, Pfizer also, wow, they really have a lot of pharmaceutical companies as far as their top 5 holdings go. And then we also have their Broadcom, the semiconductor manufacturer, Home Depot, the home retailer, and Verizon Communications, the telecommunications giant. So lots of large companies, well-established companies, with, interestingly enough, as far as the top 10 goes, a large focus on the pharmacare giants. Now, this particular ETF managed to generate an annual return over the last 5 years of 15.98%. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just under $21,000 today. That brings us to our next one, which is the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. Now, this particular ETF is dividend weighted, so it favors those companies which pay large amounts of dividends. And what they look at is US companies that have good dividend yield, good dividend growth, and a high payout ratio. Now, you guys already know what dividend yield is. Dividend growth is just where you look at the dividend year on year. You want to see that it's increasing. And when they look at the payout ratio, what the payout ratio is the dividend paid per share divided by the earnings per share. So another dividend metric. This particular ETF has a respectable dividend yield of 2.15%, and it also has an expense ratio of 0.08. So that means $8 paid to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. And as far as the risk level goes, this particular ETF managed to achieve a rating of 2 because it has a beta of 0.72. So if we go ahead and do a deep dive, we can see here that it is based on United States companies, with the main sectors being the finance, pharmacare, as well as technology industries. And if we go ahead and look at the particular largest holdings, I'm pretty sure you guys can already recognize all of these. We also see there that they have Apple, which is the largest listed company in the world, and we just see that it's broadly diversified across a lot of different sectors. Now, when it comes to performance, this particular ETF managed to generate an annual return of 15.9% over the last 5 years. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into $21,000 today. That brings us to the last one, which is the WisdomTree Global ex-US Quality Dividend Growth Fund. Now, this particular ETF tracks companies, excluding companies based in the US, that pay dividends and that also show growth characteristics. And bear in mind that this particular index is also dividend weighted. Now, this ETF has a very good dividend yield of 2.42%, as well as an expense ratio of 0.58%, so $58 paid to the fund manager for every $10,000 invested. And when it comes to the risk level for this particular ETF, it managed to achieve a rating of 3 because it has a beta of 1.13. Now, when it comes to the actual ETF deep dive, we can see that there's a strong split across many different countries, but there's a large focus based on United Kingdom companies, as well as France, Denmark, and Australia. But what we can see essentially is that there's a strong focus mainly in first world countries, with a few other third world countries in the mix. And then when we look at the actual sectors, we can see that there's a strong focus on non-energy minerals, as well as technology, as well as consumer staples. And then when it comes to the actual holdings, we see that they have the pharmaceutical giant Novo Nordisk, we see their BHP group, so the oil giant, and we also see that they have Anglo American rounding out the top 3. So as you guys can see, it's largely split across many different countries, many different companies, many different sectors. It's a very well diversified ETF. Now, this particular ETF managed to return 15.11% per annum over the last 5 years to its shareholders. That means that if you invested $10,000 5 years ago, it would have grown into just over $20,200 today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our list. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys found out or discovered a few new dividend ETFs which you actually didn't know even existed. That brings us to the end for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.